Alright, let's get this going. So, Sam Hyde decided to, I guess, on his show, have Nick Fuentes on. Yeah, that's as, the way you're reacting is probably the same way I'm reacting. It's, we're in for a video, we'll say. I think I'm gonna 1.25 times speed this. I have an okay idea of what to expect. We're probably gonna hear some dog whistling. I don't know. This should be an interesting experience. That's as much as I'm gonna say. So we'll let's listen to this.
Looks like we might have to do another show.
This young man who's with us is the recipient of the J. Albert Bean Libertarian Young Creative Thinkers Award. Guys, we're very excited to have Nick Fuentes with us.
Oh my god, crazy. Bro, what the fuck is this? He's like, listen, the sunglasses is one thing, but then you got like this like weird jacket on while you're indoors. What the fuck is this?
In the house. Nick, how you been?
It's also the summer.
Good, yeah, great to be with you.
Excellent. Is the fucking air conditioning on for a reason? Let's actually make it louder. Let's make it louder in post.
We are Ronald McDonald. Our allegiance is to truth and justice.
N-word thinking.
You are now.
Wow, okay, we're off to a great start. Jesus fuck. N-word thinking is what he said. He didn't say the real word, probably because he'd get banned off YouTube. But, Sam Hyde on Twitter, different story. He will say that shit with a hard R, uncensored, because we understand that Sam Hyde is a white supremacist. And before someone says in the comment section, oh, but Sam Hyde is joking, he doesn't actually mean that. Listen, people use jokes to communicate how they actually feel about something all the time. People do it all the time, and if you say otherwise, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right, like Sam Hyde is a white supremacist. Like he just is.
Banned from the computer.
From a FEMA fridge full of cursed condiments. The only broadcast still operating under the 1983 Emergency Continuity Act.
What the fuck am I watching right now? Are we getting like an 80s to 90s nostalgia trip? It looks a lot more 90s than it does 80s, but I suppose it could be 80s.
Is the Sam Hyde Show. Tonight, don't watch in the school computer lab. It's Nick Fuentes.
The Sam Hyde Show.
It's, I guess, not the worst intro I've seen, minus the fucking N-word, but still.
This episode is brought to you by Hale. Is that the actual brand name? The microphone cradle is by Hale? Hale what?
Oh my god, Jesus fucking Christ. We have 1 hour of this shit, so we're gonna be here for a long time, guys. It's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a lot of this stuff.
It's just Hale. It's never just Hale. We know this.
We're not even 2 minutes in and they're already fucking dog whistling Nazism. Oh my god. Why am I even... It's more like an uncomfortable laugh, by the way. I'm not actually laughing at the fact that, oh my god, Nazism. It's just very uncomfortable. Guess that sets the stage for what we're going to get into here.
Never just a simple aisle. Guys, welcome back to the Sam Hyde Show. Very proud to present Nick Fuentes. Fresh off his Candace Owens interview.
Great. We have Candace Owens in this lore as well. We're just going the full mile here, I guess.
That was fun.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I had to stop listening at about an hour because she was yapping so much.
Yeah, it's really more like an interrogation.
She was coming after. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what her problem is. It's another narcissistic black woman, pretty typical.
Okay, wow. Oh my god.
Cool.
Come on, Candace, what's going on?
Listen, I don't like Candace Owens either, but like Candace Owens is like the whitest black woman you'll ever meet. I'm pretty sure she is like... She advocates for a lot of really, like, a lot of white supremacist talking points. And yes, trust me, not just white people can be white supremacists as well. Like, there's a ton of examples of that. Candace Owens is one of them. There's a few others, like, that are not white that could be, like, considered white supremacists as well. They're just not coming off the top of my head right now.
Over there, buddy. So what's going on in the world, man? What's new with you?
I mean, we got the war with Iran. We have the Epstein files.
I've heard from some pretty high-up sources that this might be million-dimensional chess. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, Trump has not lost cat turd yet, so I think there still might be a chance.
Yeah.
I think this is an epic crash out. I think it's over. This is Ognald Blumph and the final stand. I'm afraid of what's going to happen next. I think he's going to turn the cannons on us now.
You think Trump's going to go after the alt-right?
Well, of course Trump was going to fucking turn his back on you guys. There's no way he was going to keep his end of the deal. It's like, literally, when I looked at Elon Musk and Trump, when they were having their beef just like 2 months back, like, I got like a flashback to like Hitler and Stalin. And I know they're both not as bad as like Hitler and Stalin were. Hitler and Stalin are notoriously like ruthless. But like their allyship, when Hitler and Stalin, I guess were allies at one point, because they were buddy-buddy at one point, we knew that neither one of them were going to keep the deal. It's just who backstabbed who first. And I think it so happened, I could be totally wrong on this, I'm pretty sure Hitler was the first one to backstab Stalin. But, I mean, even if Hitler didn't backstab him, then Stalin would have backstabbed him at some point as well. There was no way either of them were going to be loyal to each other. And so, like, Trump and Elon, it's no different. And Trump's not really loyal to anybody, so there's no way he's going to be loyal to MAGA or extremely far-right extremists.
I do. I think it's over. I think it's been over.
The entire world is sexually blackmailed by Mossad.
Oh my god. Okay. That's, they're really just, like, off the rip going off, like, mask off. Just, like, right off the rip.
Mainstream people know this?
How the fuck does Candace Owens proudly, like, support either of these people? I gotta say, like, I get that she is, like, in her right-wing grift. She's always been in her right-wing grift, but it's like, how the fuck could she sit here and, like, as a black woman, like, just allow these two, even allow Nick Fuentes to go on? It's fucking crazy.
I think so. The name's Epstein, so it's kind of hard to ignore.
That is a JQ. Hold on, I'm gonna replay that one more time. I'm pretty sure that was a little bit of JQ as well.
I think it's been over.
The entire world is sexually blackmailed by Mossad.
Jesus Christ.
Mainstream people know this?
I think so. The name's Epstein, so it's kind of hard to ignore.
That's like, because of the Steen part, that's a JQ. That is definitely like a large JQ, because a lot of really far-right conservatives notoriously hate Jews as well. That's another thing.
Regular people know about Epstein.
Well, it was absolutely blatant. You know, he goes to jail for sex trafficking, dies mysteriously. The cameras were turned off. Nobody was there. I actually just discovered this last week.
I guess if there's one thing that brings people who are right-leaning and left-leaning together is Epstein, and the fact that he didn't fucking kill himself, very obviously so. I guess that's one thing that'll bring liberals and conservatives together.
Bill Barr was the attorney general when he killed himself. That means he was overseeing the federal prison that Epstein was detained in. Did you know that Bill Barr's father was the principal of the school that Jeffrey Epstein worked at in the 1970s?
Oh my God.
Jeffrey Epstein was hired by Bill Barr's dad at the Dalton School in 1974. And then his son, Bill Barr, oversaw the detention facility that he died at. So it's just beyond parody. And it became a meme. You know, Epstein didn't kill himself. The meme should have been the Jews killed Epstein to keep him shut, you know?
Oh my God, of course, because the Jews did everything behind the scenes, right? Oh my God. I feel like, listen, anti-Semitism has always been around, so, like, it's nothing new. It's been around for decades. The Middle East has notoriously been anti-Semitic for decades. But, like, I feel like ever since the Israel-Palestine conflict had awareness drawn to it from TikTok and other sources online, people have just been so much more comfortable being anti-Semitic. I mean, this guy's just being masked off. He's not even dog whistling it at this point. He's, like, pretty much just admitting that, like, he's, like, pushing, like, tons of JQ. So it's crazy, man. Even people in, like, left-leaning spaces are more comfortable being anti-Semitic, like, specifically in Hassan's orbit. Like, they, like, notoriously hate Jews there in the Twitch space.
Because it's like, well, who killed him then? It just doesn't show you get one side or the other. If you get the left, you get George Soros. If you get the right, you get Jeff Epstein in Israel. So
It's nice how that story came full circle, though. It's a generational thing. We were talking about people in the CIA, some of them wanting to push war with China. Why would people want this? Why is it like a thing that anybody would push for?
You have three real countries in the Middle East. You have Turkey, Egypt, and Iran. Everything else is basically a construct. Everything else is fake.
Oh my God. So yeah, the insinuation there is that Israel does not have a right to exist and that it's fake, even though Jews have been there like the history that Jews have there go back thousands of years. Like, that's just historically proven. Again, my take on the Israel-Palestine conflict is what's happening in Gaza right now is completely unacceptable from the Israeli government. It is a genocide. It absolutely is. There's no question about that. I do still think Israel has a right to exist because the people and the citizens there are not bad, just the government is fucking terrible. And they have been committing atrocities onto Gaza for a long time now. And it's what's happening nowadays, or for a while now, has been unacceptable. Not even nowadays.
Egypt and
But, like, fucking what Nick Fuentes is saying here is that Israel just doesn't exist. Again, these are just more JQ and, like, just constant fucking dog whistling that, like, Jews are just not people at all, and it's a construct. It's very, like, it's just so... It's very icky.
Turkey have been
And like I said, it goes on for an hour, so I guess we're going to be here for a long time. I don't know, man. I don't even know if I could do this video. This is going to be very uncomfortable. This is going to be a very uncomfortable watch. I guess I'll give myself a pat on the back if I can do it.
Israel for 50 and 80 years each. Iran's the only major country that still opposes them in the region. So the Jews want a war with Iran because that's basically the last opponent. China...
Well, no. The reason why Israel attacked Iran is because they had a nuclear testing site and they wanted to get ahead of it before it became like an imminent threat. Again, I'm not saying everything Netanyahu does is incorrect. In fact, Netanyahu is a fucking war criminal. I don't like him at all. And I don't support him whatsoever. And I'm not saying the way he goes about decisions is okay. That's what I was trying to say. I fumbled on my words there, but yeah, I don't like Netanyahu. Netanyahu's a fucking war criminal, and something should happen to him, but it won't. Whether or not Iran would have been a threat, who knows? I mean, any country having nuclear weapons is always going to be very scary, but it's just not what Nick Fuentes is implying here, just to be clear.
That sounds kind of badass.
It is.
What's badass?
Only major country that still opposes them in the region. So the Jews want a war with Iran because that's basically the last opponent. China, for obvious reasons...
That sounds kind of badass.
It is.
I got chills when you said they're the last opponent. Made me think I was watching some badass action movie.
So that's why they want a war with Iran. They want a war with China. Elements in the U.S. want that because they're going to be the next great competitor. They're going to be the next great power competitor. But I don't mind them, actually. I think the Chinese are all right.
I'm just thinking, what would you need to go to...
I just don't believe you. I mean, if you're a white supremacist, you hate anyone that isn't white. Maybe he doesn't mind them now, but there's no fucking way he feels that way forever. Once a white supremacist, always a white supremacist. I mean, I guess de-radicalization is a thing, but I don't know if that's possible for Nick Fuentes at this point. I guess maybe time will tell. I pray to God he gets out of this pipeline. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he will. Like, he's legitimately, like, he's so radicalized that to the point where I just don't think anyone's going to change his mind. I'd be open to that conversation, though, if, like, there's a route that Nick Fuentes could take that could completely de-radicalize him entirely.
War with somebody if they're going to be a competitor.
No, not necessarily.
Does it necessitate bombing?
But I don't think it's possible, personally.
Going to war. I'm just thinking what many great leaders have thought for thousands of years, Ryan.
When are you not thinking like many great leaders?
Indeed. Anyway.
It's a shame that it crackles when you're just...
God, that, like, leather rubbing together is, like, really irritating the shit out of my ears.
Doing your most comfortable movements.
Well, I have to break it in here. I don't have time to break it in when I'm not on the show.
Is that regular leather?
This is Indian goat leather for real.
Okay.
We're doing an ad read, right? Yes. Let's start this ad read right with a little copyright-free...
What? Oh, I guess it is copyright. He must have muted it. I thought he said a slur there and he had to mute it on YouTube, but yeah. Okay, I guess this is muted. How long does this go on for? Yeah, there's no point in watching any of this. I think we could skip this. Alright, let's go back here.
Shoulders.
Atop the blazer, yeah.
Oh, outfit change. Okay, cool, I guess.
Tie it around the waist like Raven.
Around the waist.
The fuck? Whose are these?
Why are they censoring his bald spot? What the fuck? Wait, did you guys see that?
Tie it around the waist like Raven.
Around the waist.
Bro, look, what is this? They're like pixelating his fucking bald spot. What the fuck? Why is that censored?
The fuck? Whose are these?
Listen, if Sam Hyde could get away with uncensoring, like, slurs, he absolutely would. He absolutely would. I mean, look at what he does on Twitter all the time. He says the N-word with a hard R all the time on Twitter. But on YouTube, obviously, they would ban you for doing something like that. So, I just, I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like Sam Hyde would be the type of person to censor his bald spot, but never censor slurs if he could get away with it.
Oh, nice. I found it at a gas station. So they're the world's.
You like buying stuff at gas stations?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I always think it's fun. So we're on the road a lot. They always have knives and crazy cool shit you can just flip around and throw. I got in Arizona, an Alien Area 51 driver's license, but it was like irregularly long, so it didn't fit in the card slot. So I had to make a special exception and put it where the money goes, in the wallet. So now I just have this extra card in my wallet.
You know, it's interesting. I saw the iDubbbz documentary of Sam Hyde. I think it was his second part of his documentary series ever, which I think was like his way of, that was like his first stepping stones from stepping away from his old content cop videos, which were starting to age less and less well as time went on. His first being on Airsoft Fatty, and then his second one being on Sam Hyde, which is now deleted, but I'm pretty sure people have archived it online, so you can watch his Sam Hyde documentary essentially. And then he deleted it, and I guess that just like resurfaced Sam Hyde having a platform again, and it really gave Sam Hyde all this like exposure to really kickstart his career again, and like look where he is now. Like I feel like if anything, that publicity for him was just an overall net positive, just overall for his I guess platform, which is fucking crazy to think about.
It's like Area 51 alien. It's like I'm an alien. So the cop pulls me over and I say, "Here you go, officer. I'm a fucking alien."
Okay.
All right.
I posited that maybe it's a different shape because like it's from outer space. Like it's not the standard card shape. It's
They use
from a
different. Yeah, they still.
There is something very wrong about the way he said that. I'm an alien. I feel I'm just getting such fucking like. Listen, he may not be dog whistling here. That's a very charitable way to look at it. That he may not be dog whistling in this moment, but like when he says alien, I'm an alien as like a weird joke. He's kind of communicating that like I don't know when he's wearing like his Indian leather. It's, I don't know. Literally, the last, like, long video I made was his message to Elon Musk where he, like, says that H-1B visas are a problem and stuff. And in most cases, whenever I heard, like, the argument about, like, H-1B visas being an issue, it's mainly from people who want a reason to blame them. The reason why people hire them is because it is cheaper. Like, that is true. It is cheaper to hire people who have H-1B visas and that are good on tech. Like, it's good money for them. That's the reason why they do it. But I feel like the main reason people complain about them so much, it is a dog whistle, essentially. I know I keep using that term, but they are dog whistling that, like, you know, these immigrants are problematic to some capacity, and that has a lot of overlap with illegal immigration as well, and so they'll fuel their hatred for that too, and yeah, they're just off to the races with their argument.
It's a Mercurian standard.
They're still with rectangles. They're still fine with rectangles, but it's different specs. Yeah, exactly. So listen, my viewers are not as...
Again, I don't know if he was actually dog whistling in that moment, but he could have been. I'm not leaving it off the table.
Educated as your viewers, right? We need to know what else is going on. So the U.S., we want war with Iran because they're the last opponent. It sounds badass. Okay,
well, no, mainly because they had a nuclear test site. I don't like Netanyahu, but like that's the reason they did do it, just to be clear, if we're going to be factual here.
The devil is due here. We want war with China because they're a possible competitor.
Well, they just did the...
Not to say that China doesn't have an army. I mean, they certainly do have an army, and they could fight if they really wanted to, but I feel like China, being a superpower, is not so much within their army, but more so with, like, a lot of the tech and a lot of the economy that they put out there, even if it's not environment-friendly, because there's a lot of fucking smog if you go to China. But, like, China is a lot more, is passive the right word? I guess. Not so much offensive with, like, armies and stuff compared to, I guess, the bigger powers like Russia and the U.S.
A big, beautiful bill that just got through Congress. They're cutting the corporate tax rate again, extending the corporate tax cut, and to pay for it, they're cutting Medicaid by $900 billion, which I think is like great politics. You know, taking away healthcare to pay for corporate tax cuts is a real winner.
That's funny, yeah.
Well, and it's like, this is just so classic. Every year, people vote for fewer immigrants. People vote because we hate seeing like Venezuelans peddling candy bars on the street.
Yeah, I bet you do. Holy fuck, dude. God.
Every year we just get tax cuts. Get a corporate tax cut.
Anyone that isn't white is a problem in America is essentially what Nick Fuentes is saying here, and I just fucking hell. I'm chuckling because it's just uncomfortable, by the way. I'm not actually laughing at him.
Like $1 trillion defense budget and more wars for Israel. So that's basically what was in the bill. And well, here's the best part. They allocated $150 billion for ICE and deportations and for the border.
Well, no, Trump is overextending his hand heavily by using ICE and robbing people from due process. And illegal immigrants do have rights. A lot of people were trying to use the argument that illegal immigrants, if you're an illegal immigrant, you have no rights to the U.S. Everybody has rights to the U.S., even if you are an illegal immigrant. You still have the right to due process. But the problem is that Trump is robbing them from that.
And then the same day that the bill passed, Trump got into a rally and said, we're not going to do mass deportations anymore. So,
Beautiful.
Well, what's the money
When did he say that?
for then? And then
He might have said that, but like, when did he say that?
they told us the week later, the deportations are now for citizens that criticize Israel. That's the new memo from the DOJ. The deportations are now for citizens that...
The denaturalization push gives the Trump administration more tools. You know, it's interesting. You would think that Nick Fuentes and Sam Hyde hate that because they both fucking hate Jewish people extensively. Like, they are white supremacists and they hate Jews. Like, so... I don't know. I mean, literally earlier in this fucking video, like, Nick Fuentes dog whistled that, like, Israel was just a construct and that it wasn't, like, these people, like, run the world, but they shouldn't exist. So that's about as anti-Semitic as you can get, I think.
Criticize Israel. That's the new memo from the DOJ. They're going to revoke citizenship of people that criticize Israel and then deport them to Libya and Africa.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so I found this article. It's from the Times of Israel. And essentially what Nick Fuentes is referring to here, I don't know if he's going to mention it later, but this is because of the rise of anti-Semitism that's been happening from pro-Palestinian protests. Now, I want to quickly clarify that just because someone is pro-Palestinian does not mean they're anti-Semitic. That, like, the pro-Palestinian movement is not anti-Semitic. That on its own is not anti-Semitic. They just want the genocide to stop. They want Israel to cease fire. They want the occupation. They want Israel to stop their occupation in Gaza, etc. Which, again, that on its own is not anti-Semitic. Me personally, there's not going to be any other realistic outcome to this other than a two-state solution. Because Israel does have a right to exist, but it doesn't have a right to do what it's currently doing to Gaza. What it's doing is terrible, and Netanyahu is a war criminal. But, like, we need to... Like I said, the only realistic way that Palestine survives, or that Israel survives, is that there needs to be a two-state solution. Obviously, they both can't coexist the way things are currently, but I digress. So, in the order issued Wednesday, Trump directed government departments to take actions to remove students who are not citizens and who endorse terrorism. Yes, so just to be clear, what that means, I want to highlight that sentence specifically. What that means is not people who are pro-Palestinian specifically, because I know Fox News sensationalized this a lot and said that they are all pro-Hamas. That's not true. Being pro-Palestinian does not mean you're pro-Hamas. That is a massive, just a straight up lie, like straight up. That's not true. What that means is people who are legitimately pro-Hamas and anti-Semitic that use genuine pro-Palestinian movements as a way to disguise their hatred for Jewish people. Those people do exist. Specifically in Hassan Parker's spaces on Twitch and other spaces on Twitch as well, if you're around his orbit. The order is framed as an update on Trump's 2019 executive order on anti-Semitism and includes several other provisions. It would fulfill some of Trump's campaign promises to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses. It would also sharply escalate the methods of government uses to fight anti-Semitism on campuses and beyond. It would link that efforts with Trump's vast campaign to deport millions of undocumented immigrants, which a range of Jewish groups oppose. Excuse me. Some of his allies had been pushing for such a move for months before his election. Marco Rubio, now Trump's Secretary of State, had called for such visas to be revoked while still senator. And as Elias Stefank, now the president's nominee for the United Nations ambassador. Hamas's October 7th attack, terrorist onslaught in Israel, unleashed an unprecedented wave of vile anti-Semitic discrimination, vandalism, and violence against our civilians, which is true. There have been a lot of attacks against Jewish people just because they are Jewish. I mean, if you look at the embassy that happened earlier this year, that was just blatantly anti-Semitic. And if you think otherwise, I don't know what else to tell you. And when you had people like Hassan Parker going on Twitch being like, oh, I don't think it's a false flag. It is a false flag, which means he is essentially dog whistling that Israel did it just so they could play victim. That's like a huge fucking conspiracy theory. Like, again, Hassan constantly dog whistles that Jewish people are less than people all the time in his spaces. It's a lot more acceptable to be anti-Semitic now than it was back then. So yeah, that's just a little bit of context that I thought I should add to what Nick Fuentes is saying here, because I feel like he's leaving that part out specifically to make Jews seem worse than they actually are, which is very gross.
Remember when they were deporting people for being pro-Palestine, people on, was it student visas?
Yep.
Wow, okay, I guess he is going to go into it. Okay, never mind, maybe I paused too early, I guess.
So people who were... Listen, we don't want Arabs in this country, but they were in this country...
That's... Okay, that is not at all what I said. Jesus Christ, what... You're saying... Incredible. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. I don't know what I was expecting with Sam Hyde and Nick Fuentes. Like, let's be, like, fucking real.
Legally here to study, and they were being deported because they were critical of Israel. And I saw a lot of people on the right sort of cheering that, like, they didn't understand... why that might be a bad thing. So what they're going to
I am so confused on what your point is there.
Border for ICE and deportations and for the border. And then the same day that the bill passed, Trump got into a rally and said, we're not going to do mass deportations anymore. So well, what's the money for then? And then they told us the week later.
Hold on.
They're going to
remember when they were deporting people for being pro-Palestine, people on, was it student visas?
Yep.
So people who were... Listen, we don't want Arabs in this country, but they were in this country legally here to study, and they were being deported because they were critical of Israel. And I saw a lot of people on the right sort of cheering that. Like,
so I really, like, wonder what someone, like, what fuels someone to say, like, we don't want Arabs in this country. I really don't understand it, like, how you could have this point of view, like, at all justifiably. There is no justification for it. I'm really, like, questioning what drives Sam Hyde to believe this. I really am curious.
They didn't understand why that might be a bad thing. So what they're going to deport who now?
Citizens. They're revoking the citizenship.
How does that work? What does that mean?
So if you're a naturalized citizen, meaning you attain it after you're born in another country, you come here and get your citizenship, they say the top 5 priorities of the DOJ this year will be revoking naturalized citizenship from anybody that is a threat to Israel or criticizes Israel.
That's not entirely true. Unfortunately, that's while that is technically part of it, that's not entire. What essentially it means, according to the article we literally just read, is that Israel, it's mainly people who are pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, essentially. That is a huge part of it, which I feel like is. Oh my god, it just feels like such a fucking victim complex to, like, perpetrate this, right? I can't be the only one that thinks that this is, like, such a victim complex mentality to say, oh my god, we can't criticize Jews anymore. That's what I take away from this. There's no way there's no way I'm the only one that thinks that, right?
Holy shit.
That's the new move.
Do you think that Rosie O'Donnell's a test run for a straight up... She was born in America.
She was.
And Trump was saying that, like, it's probably, like, the test subject.
Is this going to be, like, one of those, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Because they hate fucking Middle Easterners as well, both of these people. Because, again, they're white supremacists. So what? Are they going to, I guess, temporarily, like, applaud the Middle Easterners for being anti-Semitic? Or are they going to temporarily ally with the Jews to get rid of the Middle Easterners? Or, like, what's the deal? I don't know what the fucking... I mean, they obviously hate both of them, but it's like, I wonder if that's what they're doing here, like, the enemy is my friend type of shit.
If everybody hates Rosie, so we're going to deport her, and then everybody's going to be like, yeah! And then now you've opened that door to make that possible, and then we're gone.
Did they deport Rosie?
Not yet.
He said we should look into it. He said we're going to look into it very strongly. You know, it's kind of funny because people are voting for tyranny. You know, people are voting for, like, mass deportations, going door to door, arresting people, going after the media. But we're just getting, like, Jewish tyranny. We're getting that, but, like, for Israel. We're, like, deporting people that criticize Israel, going to war for Israel, deporting people that hate Israel.
Again, they're deporting people who are pro-Hamas. I still think that they have due process because, again, even if you do that sort of thing, you still have a right to due process. Every person who is in America, even if you're illegal or not, has a right to due process. But you're like, what are you fucking talking about here?
Shutting down Harvard because they hate Israel, and it's like, we just kind of got the wrong flavor. So it's like, right idea, just directionally not pointed at the right thing here.
Not the right thing. What he's saying there is that we need to hate Israel more, just to be clear. That's essentially what Nick Fuentes is saying here, is that, like, we're deporting people for all the wrong reasons. They should be anti-Semitic. That's not what we should be focusing on. That's essentially what Nick Fuentes is saying here. I hope we realize that.
I don't know what they're doing though, because they're attracting all that attention to this anti-Israel hate. They've got to understand that it's going to come full circle, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, maybe not liking Israel is super justified, right? Like that's going to bite them in the butt.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that what Israel is doing to Gaza is terrible, but that's not the reason why these guys hate Israel. They're doing it because they fucking hate Jewish people. This is not the reason they hate Israel at all. But, like, listen, I understand people's anger with Israel and the anger that the Israeli government is inflicting upon Palestinians. That is justified. People have every right to feel that way, and I would never criticize someone for feeling that way. It is a whole other thing to say that Israeli people are awful, Israel as an entire country is terrible. That includes the people there as well, which is essentially what you're saying. It's essentially what a lot of these people are saying. These are just like constant just JQ and constant fucking anti-Semitic things, which unfortunately is just a lot more acceptable nowadays than ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just going to kill us all, you know what I mean?
Okay, interesting.
Just more fucking conspiracy brain shit.
Peter Thiel has like an enemies list of like 2 million people in Palantir.
Yeah.
And Palantir came in on the heels of Doge. Elon Musk brought Doge in to every department, to the IRS, the Treasury Department, education, the rest of it. And everyone that worked in Doge had also worked for Palantir. And so when Doge left, the Palantir people stayed. And what they're doing now is they're creating a master database that has your education records, health records, tax records, the Treasury Department's records. And they're going to be in one giant searchable database for this administration with a $150 billion budget for ICE that wants to take citizenship from people that criticize Israel. And that's what...
Again, people who are pro-Hamas and pro-terrorist, not people who are against Israel. Those are two different things entirely, just to be absolutely clear.
But people voted for it when they voted for Trump.
What is Palantir? Can you explain what this is a little bit?
Well, the voting for Trump is a little bit complicated. Mainly, there's all sorts of reasons Trump won the election. We could have a whole conversation about it. But just to narrow it down, there are a lot of people who either didn't vote for the election because of fucking Gaza, essentially. They just saw a lot of TikToks on Gaza and they said, they both support Israel. I'm not voting for the election. Even though Kamala Harris would have been better for Gaza than Trump would have. Again, I'm not saying Kamala Harris would have been perfect for Gaza. In fact, I don't even think she would have been inherently good for it, quite frankly. But, like, she sure as hell would have been better for it than Trump, especially considering that, like, Kamala Harris isn't trying to actively pass laws that take away the rights to LGBTQ people. And so for the people who didn't vote, if you didn't vote for the election, you might as well have voted for Trump. Just to be honest, like, essentially, by not voting for the election, you put your vote in. Because Kamala Harris didn't stand a fucking chance against Trump. Not unless tons of people tried to vote her just because she wasn't Trump. But again, with all the Epstein file stuff going on, like, Trump's having his, like, rude awakening, he's definitely, falling off a lot. There's all sorts of reasons why Trump won the election. A lot of people voted him to combat Kamala Harris because they thought he would be better for Gaza, even though that's very delusional thinking. And also because a lot of people are just sick of the fucking left. I feel like that's one of the main reasons. Is just like the people are so fucking sick of the left just like being too pussy. I like there's no nicer word to say it. Like the people who are on the left right now are just too fucking scared to do anything. And in some cases with people who are right-leaning, you have people who are a little too accepting, quite frankly. You know, they were platforming people like Andrew Tate. They allowed Conor McGregor, who's a legitimate rapist, to speak at the White House. They, Trump's trying to get, like, P. Diddy pardoned. And, he pardoned a bunch of January 6ers who had child porn and who were legitimate pedophiles. Just incredibly disgusting shit.
Palantir is a CIA cutout. So in 2001, after 9/11, they created this it's basically artificial intelligence or an algorithm to interpret these vast amounts of data. The intelligence community takes all this massive amounts of data, emails, phone calls, text messages. Palantir interprets all of it into insights that are usable by law enforcement. And so in 2001, after 9/11, they took what was a CIA program and they just effectively privatized it to bypass the Constitution. You know, the Constitution protects people's privacy, but a private company doesn't have to play by the same rules.
Okay, I need to... hold on. Okay, so I tried to find as much information as I could, so instead I just decided to put it in Grok. Again, it's Grok, so take it with a grain of salt, of course, but Grok says, Nick Fuentes' claims dissected. Claim 1, Palantir is essentially an artificial intelligence. I must have spelled it incorrect. I don't know which spelling it is, so do forgive me. But the fact check, partially accurate but oversimplified. Palantir Technologies, founded in 2003, developed software like Gotham and Foundry that analyze and integrate large data sets to provide actionable insights. These platforms are used by government agencies, including the CIA, FBI, ICE, and Department of Defense, as well as law enforcement and private companies, to process data such as email, phone records, and other digital information. However, Palantir's role is not solely AI-driven. It focuses on intelligence augmentation, combining AI with human analysts to interpret data, as AI alone found insufficient for complex analysis. And so here's, I think this part's mostly accurate. It's just mainly minor things that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But here is where things get a little bit interesting, based on what I read. So, inaccurate timeline. Basically, the claim is in 2001, after 9/11, they took what was a CIA program and they effectively privatized it to bypass the Constitution. This is inaccurate timeline and misleading on intent. Palantir was founded in 2003, yada, yada, yada. And basically, the part that's, like, important, it was here earlier. I don't know why I'm not finding it now. There's no evidence Palantir was explicitly created to bypass the Constitution. However, critics argue its work enables heightened surveillance that would skirt privacy protections, as it allows for agencies to aggregate and analyze data in ways that raise Fourth Amendment concerns. For example, Palantir's contract with ICE and other agencies. The post-9/11 environment led to expanded surveillance under laws like the Patriot Act, and Palantir's tools fit right into the framework by helping the process. However, the claim that they prioritize them is just speculation. So, just to be clear, I wanted to make sure that there was, like, legitimate factual evidence that they were trying to bypass the Constitution. That framing seems very... it leans heavily into conspiracy. So, okay. Definitely not true. I also used it to find articles for the Israel thing going on as well. So yeah, we're really just we're really parsing through all the conspiracy here.
But he doesn't have to play by the same rules.
So 2001, you're saying that the CIA was spying on people and collecting all this data, and then to get around public oversight, they sort of transferred this into a private company?
Right.
Well, that's half true, but there's no explicit evidence that they were doing it to bypass the Constitution, which Nick Fuentes is heavily insinuating here. It's very weird. This is very conspiracy territory.
So Palantir is a firm that creates usable insights based on vast amounts of data. It's a private entity to circumvent the Constitution. They're founded in 2001. Until 2008, they only worked for the CIA. And the CIA actually provided startup money through their venture capital arm, InQtel. So they provided all the money for it, and they created all the products. So Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Joe Lonsdale, they were at Langley, Virginia, at the CIA headquarters making everything for the CIA as a so-called contractor. And then after that, they branched out into everything. So they identified the Capitol rioters on January 6th. They were identifying who wasn't vaccinated in 2021.
What were they doing with people that weren't vaccinated?
Just to identify contact tracing, who had COVID and who was spreading it to everybody using Bluetooth.
Okay, I need to fact check something else. Give me 1 second. Okay, never mind. It seems like it's pretty accurate for the most part, the thing that I wanted to fact check, so I'll just edit that out. It seems like that's fairly accurate. Okay, then.
And then identifying then who wasn't vaccinated for the purpose of these vaccine passports. You know, in states like New York or in New York City, they wouldn't let people into restaurants if they didn't have the vaccine. So this was going to be like, they wanted to identify everybody that didn't have the card.
Yeah.
Using Bluetooth, you said?
That's for identifying who has COVID.
Interesting.
Because if you got COVID and you tested positive, they would look at your phone, and your phone has Bluetooth, and they'd see all the other phones that touched it. So they can identify everybody that might have COVID. That's the contact tracing. It's basically just like what Ted Kaczynski warned about. This is the classic panopticon surveillance state. And so Palantir was founded by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel funds all the new right projects. In 2022, he was the single largest individual donor in the cycle. So he put $30 million behind J.D. Vance, Blake Masters.
Why does he look greasy?
Well, he's a gay man. I think that has a lot to do with it. So,
there's a certain amount of
Is he actually gay? That's an interesting thing. I guess I'll look that up. Yeah, I mean, Peter Thiel, married to Matt Den Zyson? Is that how you say his name? Yeah, I mean, he is a gay man. Of course, they're gonna bring it up because, they're obviously gonna have a truly productive conversation about gay people on here, surely. Fucking crazy.
Look greasy.
Well, he's a gay man. I think that has a lot to do with it. So,
Nice. Homophobia, too. We love it.
There's a certain amount of grease that comes along with the lifestyle.
Yeah, a lot of lubricant, a lot of lubricating.
Why is it all over his face when he's doing public appearances?
Peter Thiel has funded Sovereign House.
I'm really just questioning if I can have any productive conversation with just the constant dog whistling in this small echo chamber of just white supremacists. I mean, listen, Nick Fuentes and Sam Hyde are white supremacists. I don't know who the fuck those other two people are, but I think it's safe to assume they are likely white supremacists themselves as well, because they're very comfortable co-signing this shit.
Passage Press, Bronze Age Pervert, Claremont Institute, and then, of course, our vice president, J.D. Vance, was his protege for his entire career. So Vance is Peter Thiel's guy on the inside.
Where does Thiel come from? Was he around in 2001?
He was.
And
he came from PayPal.
What was he doing?
So he had just, around that time, created PayPal with Elon Musk.
At that point, when they're doing PayPal, is this something that's linked to intelligence yet, or is he sort of solo?
Most likely.
Listen, I don't know. I think Sam Hyde, I don't know about Nick Fuentes much, other than that he's a white supremacist and he's very fucking unhinged. But, Sam Hyde, I know that I will give Sam Hyde this one thing, even though I don't think Sam Hyde is a good person at all. He is very gross as a person. But I will give him this. I think Sam Hyde is a smart person. He genuinely is a smart person, but holy shit, he is fucking terrible with, his politics and just everything, all his beliefs.
Likely, yes, because of the nature of what PayPal is, which is a peer-to-peer payment system. So it's deeply in touch with the financial industry and state regulations. The real connection to intelligence is that he comes from Stanford University. That was his origin story. He founded the Stanford Review at Stanford University with money from Irving Kristol.
What's that, like the school paper?
Yes.
Who's Irving Kristol?
Irving Kristol's the godfather of neoconservatism. So he invented the neocons. He's a Jew, former communist who became a conservative after the
Wow, he must be your idol then, Nick Fuentes. I can see why you look up to him so much.
Soviet Union backed Israel's enemies.
Peter Thiel, I almost said Peter Steele. He should change his name. He started the school newspaper with money from the godfather of neoconservatism?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So he takes money from Irving Kristol to start this paper. And you have to understand that, like, where all these conservatives come from is they're effectively groomed by the CIA out of college.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. They're fucking grooming. Oh, boy.
Every major conservative.
And listen, if you look at this timestamp, it says conservatives groomed by CIA, enter Israel. So I imagine he's going to tie in this, like, massive fucking JQ conspiracy theory into all of this somehow. I didn't have much to say about the PayPal and Peter Thiel stuff, because to be honest with you, I'm not super educated on that part, so I didn't really have much commentary to give there. I did try to fact check a couple things, like about with Palantir and stuff, and again, Nick Fuentes... I don't know. I mean, if he left out information about, like, the Palestinian protests and all that stuff, and, like, how people were being deported for being, like, pro-Hamas specifically, then it's hard to take everything that he's saying here at face value, right? I have to fact check some of the stuff he's saying as well, and he got some of the stuff about Palantir incorrect as well. Not everything, though, I guess, to his credit. I say that tentatively, cringing.
Thinker, influencer, basically from the 1950s on, was groomed by what was called the Congress for Cultural Freedom, which is a project of the CIA.
This is the KKK.
No. Oh my God. No, we're talking about serious stuff, so I tried to hold it in. So this was a while ago this happened, but you said the godfather of neoconservatism. And all I could think was like, the godfather goes, so you're telling me you don't support Israel? That's all I could think of, and my brain just like, shut up, don't say that.
No, please interject with humor. You're saying that every major conservative figure comes from this Congress of what?
Congress for Cultural Freedom.
Congress for Cultural Freedom.
So they're all, in a word, they're all being...
So what does that... Wait, what does that mean then? Congress for Cultural Freedom. What the fuck does that mean?
Please interject with humor. You're saying that every major conservative figure comes from this Congress of what?
Congress for Cultural Freedom.
Congress for Cultural Freedom.
So they're all, in a word, they're all being groomed. All of these, like, conservative intellectuals that are writing these books, people like William F. Buckley, and many of...
Are you saying that they're not, like, far right enough? I really don't understand the point here. Am I just fucking stupid? Or is this, like, just more conspiracy bullshit? I really, like, I'm actually trying to understand the point there.
The anti-communists are all being groomed out of college by the CIA to be a conservative counterweight to left-wing communism in America, because the CIA is deeply worried about communism spreading in the United States and elsewhere.
Dude, this is so conspiracy brains. Like, that's really the vibe I'm getting from here. I'm so confused on what he's actually trying to say. Maybe I need to turn captions on, like, one more time.
That are writing these books, people like William F. Buckley, and many of the anti-communists are all being groomed out of college by the CIA to be a conservative counterweight to left-wing communism in America.
Left-wing communism, God, that's obviously not true, but okay.
Because the CIA is deeply worried about communism spreading in the United States and elsewhere.
I mean, they, like, obviously, yes, communism is, like, a fear. Not nearly as much now, but it definitely was a bigger fear back in the day. I don't know about now. Maybe they still are today, but, like, that's, again, like, the way that you're wording it is very conspiracy jargon.
So Peter Thiel tracks with this pattern where Irving Kristol's one of them.
Should I just keep captions on for the rest of this video? I think I might just do that.
Back in the 60s.
Just so I can, like, actually follow a little bit better. Because, like, some of the shit is, like, very... I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. But, like, some of this shit is, like, very, like, strange.
These or 70s or whatever, they would have been doing this to combat communism.
Right.
And then it's...
Well, yeah, that is true. Like, to be fair... But, like, I don't know, not the way Nick Fuentes is making it out to be.
At some point, something goes wrong.
I wouldn't say it went wrong. It's more like the CIA was always in bed with Israeli intelligence, so...
Oh my god, alright, here we go. Here we fucking go. I knew it was gonna get to this point at some point. I'm just wondering, so how the fuck does this tie back to Israel? And, like, obviously that guy, like, made a joke about it earlier, and I almost just, like, wasn't surprised, because they're really, like, pushing this whole idea that Jews run the world. This is nothing new. This is, like, the same level of conspiracy that, like, gay and trans people groom children and are pedophiles to children. This is, like, the same level of that conspiracy that people are just running. There's, like, nothing to prove that the Jews run the world or whatever. It's just such a weird fucking thing to perpetrate here.
Under the aegis of fighting communism, what they're really doing is combating anti-Semitism at the exact same time. So these people are being groomed by the CIA, which happens to be an institution that's totally infiltrated by Israel.
When was the CIA in?
Oh my god. So for the first claim that authors are being groomed by the CIA, historical context, there is some historical basis for the CIA influence in intellectual circles, but Fuentes' framing is exaggerated and selective. During the Cold War, the CIA did fund cultural intellectual initiatives to counter Soviet influence through programs like Congress for Cultural Freedom, which supported anti-communist intellectuals and publications from the 1950s to 1967. Irving Kristol, a prominent neoconservative, was briefly involved in the CCF-funded magazine Encounter in the 1950s. There's no direct evidence that he was a CIA operative or groomed in the way Nick Fuentes implies. I knew that narrative, there was something so fucking wrong about the way he was communicating that narrative. It was so... Something was very off about it to me. I don't know, like, I couldn't lay my finger on it, but that's what it was. There you go. Aimed to promote liberal and anti-communist ideas, not specifically conservative ones, and its activities that were exposed in the 1960s leading to its decline. Second claim, the CIA is funded and infiltrated by Israel. So the U.S.-Israel relationship, they do have a strong alliance, and there's a big reason why. One of the nice icing on the cakes as to why the U.S. is allied with Israel is because Israel is the only country in the Middle East that has Western influence. And I think spreading Western influence, generally speaking, is a good thing. Hey, guess what? In a lot of these countries, you don't get killed for being gay. That's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty rad. I think most of us like that. But, you know, that's apparently bad to some people, apparently. They've always had a strong alliance, and that's generally the reason why we have a strong relationship to them and not so much with other countries in the Middle East, because their culture, generally speaking, doesn't really align as much with Western values. Not to mention all the terrorist groups, and like it gets really complicated. The CIA and Israel's Mossad have collaborated on counterterrorism and regional security, particularly against Iran and groups like Hezbollah. Former CIA officer John Kiriko, I don't know how to say that name. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Has noted Mossad's effectiveness and its operations with Iran, indicating professional respect rather than infiltration. However, collaboration doesn't equate Israel controlling or having influence on the CIA. So when I think of infiltrating the CIA, I think of like having moles in the CIA. I think of like actual legitimate high-ups being like spies for other countries. That's essentially like espionage, essentially. That's generally what I think. Maybe I'm just watching too many fucking movies. Maybe I'm playing too many games. I don't fucking know. But that's generally what I think of when people word it in that way, specifically saying that Israel infiltrates the CIA. That is just, there's nothing. And not to mention, it's just anti-Semitic bullshit, and it's anti-Semitic dog whistling that Jews control the world. This is just like a piece to that like puzzle of an idea, essentially. Wow, we're only 20 minutes through. I really don't know if I can finish this, guys. I really don't know.
Infiltrated by Israel.
From the very start, from its very inception. And the reason...
That's not true. That there's no concrete evidence to even support that.
Is because the CIA was formed out of wartime intelligence during World War II. Obviously, we needed intelligence about the Axis, the Nazis, the Italians. And so when the Allies invaded...
It's heavily prevalent for the Cold War and the KGB as well, just to be clear.
In Italy, what was coming through Italy were a lot of Jewish refugees fleeing the Holocaust, fleeing the persecution by the Germans.
Yeah, and also in other countries as well. Italy was definitely... I do believe Italy was one of them, yeah.
So how did the Allies get intelligence about the Germans? We talked to the Jews that were fleeing Germany. And so our entire intelligence network from Germany, and even from Russia for that matter, from Poland, all these Jews that were fleeing these countries came from Jewish refugees, essentially. So when the CIA...
That doesn't mean the CIA... That doesn't mean they infiltrated the CIA. Just because we have connections to some Jews, or just because the U.S. has a better relationship to Israel compared to all the other Middle Eastern countries, that does not mean that the Jews control the CIA. What the fuck are you talking about? Where are you even going with this?
Founded, it was basically made up. All the human sources were Jewish refugees leaving Italy.
That doesn't mean that the fucking CIA was infiltrated.
And then going to Israel. And then the next big step...
Well, Israel, just to be clear, Israel was done by the Brits, essentially. The Brits gave them land to go to after the Holocaust, of course, when Hitler committed a genocide onto Jewish people. It was established in 1948, specifically, yada, yada, yada. We don't need to go into the history that the Jews were given land by the British, because, again, you can tie the Brits to, like, almost anything in history at this point. They're everywhere.
Is that we were, of course, fighting the Soviet Union. When the Cold War starts in the 1950s, we have to know everything about the Soviet Union, but we know nothing because an Iron Curtain has descended. We have no sources that are on the inside. We have no idea what's going on. But there are some people leaving the Soviet Union, and it's Jews that are leaving the Soviet Union to go to Israel. So we say, how do we know the secrets about the Soviet Union? Let's interview the Soviet Jews that flee to Israel.
Okay, so I found this article. This is a very old article. This is September 2011. So very, very old article, but if this happened decades ago, I'm pretty sure it has some relevance to this day. So the organizers for this conference, yada, 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 we don't need to read that. While perhaps not a hot button topic today between the Cold War now over, nevertheless, any public consideration of links between Jews and subversion should make us uneasy, for the alleged treachery of the chosen people has been a favorite trope of anti-Semites throughout the ages. So if we go here, basically, essentially this is meant to like debunk that the Jews had a massive role in debunking Soviet into Soviet espionage or whatever. Nick Fuentes has a very insidious insinuation that the fucking Jews were the main reason as to how we got all the intelligence from the Soviet Union during the Cold War. As Jonathan Brent, the executive director of YIVO Institute, pointed out his opening remarks, the historical reality is that Jews were prominent members of the Soviet elite and were disproportionately represented in both the American Communist Party and in some ranks of the spying on the U.S. In the 1930s and 40s. Some scholars have argued that Judaism's concern with social justice and its prophetic identification oppressed its messianic strain, that's a mouthful, and those raised in its traditions naturally more sympathetic to socialist or Marxist thoughts. So that last part right there, essentially what that means is there were some Jews that did sympathize with the idea of communism after World War II, because Hitler's idea for the economy, even though people at the time thought, well, the economy was good at the time, yeah, well, long term it didn't work because the government was absolutely tyrannical in every way imaginable. So, yes, some Jews sympathized with communism because it was still relatively new at the time and it was still on the rise, and the influence of communism was still happening in the 40s, 50s, 60s onwards. You know, we get the idea. But, like, this idea that Jews are the main reason for spies. Jews, like, hardly any... I'm pretty sure that most of the spies that were in the Soviet Union weren't actually Jewish. So there's a very, very insidious insinuation that Nick Fuentes is making here. It's very fucking weird, the way he's, like, wording it here.
In order to get access to those people, we have to make a deal with Israel. And we effectively say, well, we will help your fledgling state if you give us information about the Soviet Union. And so basically a deal was made. This is how they got their nuclear program. This is what was revealed in the JFK files earlier in the year. That James Angleton, who was running the Israel desk in the 50s and 60s and 70s, he, under the table, was providing Israel with nuclear secrets to get access to their Soviet emigres so we could learn more about the Soviet Union.
Now, you said James Angleton? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if you showed that guy the future? Hey, James, I want to show you something real quick. It's a glimpse into the future. This is what you did?
What the fuck did you show there? What?
Hey, James, I want to show you something real quick. It's a glimpse into the future.
Oh, is this the whole ICE stuff that's happening? Oh my god. Are they, like, doing the virtual Miami virtual check-in at hotels and... Okay. Okay. Yeah, so none of this matters that much. Oh, that's Coney Island right there. What the fuck? That's Coney Island.
This is what you did? That's...
Yeah, no. What Nick Fuentes... Obviously, what I was going to say earlier, by the way, was that what Nick Fuentes is saying is obviously just not true. It's just in any capacity whatsoever. There's no basis for the fact that Jews were... the main reason and the main source of intelligence for the Soviet Union. I'm sure there was, like, a part that Israel did play during the Cold War at some point. I think that actually does happen because the IDF was around during that time as well. And, like, it's very, again, the U.S. funded it, like, heavily. It's funded it, like, extensively over the years. They weren't the main reason that they got that intel from the Soviet Union at the time, right? Like, again, this idea that Jews are running the world is it's just so fucking insidious from Nick Fuentes here. It's very gross.
Really funny. Okay, so CIA formation. They're infiltrated from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. They are not infiltrated at all. There's no evidence to support that whatsoever.
Because they wanted access to Russian emigres. Mm-hmm.
They were not the only reason that they got that info, just to be clear.
Congress for Confederate?
Cultural freedom.
Cultural freedom. Okay, so tell me about this.
Congress of Confederate. You wish, Sam Hyde. You wish.
The CCF, we'll call it, because I forgot what it was.
So the CIA starts to basically support a lot of conservative radio publications, intellectuals, because these guys are all making the case that the Soviet Union is evil.
It sounds like PragerU.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, it is PragerU. It's like proto-PragerU. Mm-hmm. And so basically all of the famous anti-communist conservatives of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, maybe the most prominent being William F. Buckley, they were being funded under the table by the CIA. Their papers, radio.
So the insinuation there, what Nick Fuentes is saying here is that Israel essentially is grooming all of these conservatives. I get what he was saying now, like, because I was so confused what he was trying to talk about earlier, but I get it now. Like, this is insane, what he's trying to push here. Like, I hope we understand this.
TV, their scholarships, they were all funded through what were called cutouts, NGOs, various projects, one of them being the Congress for Cultural Freedom. And that's because the CIA wanted to create in Europe and in the United States this intellectual case against communism.
Well, that is true that the United States had a lot of propaganda and stuff, and there was a lot of fear of communists. That's why you had Joseph McCarthy running around giving false accusations to people of being communists, and he got all these people arrested. It's funny. Some of that stuff happens to this day on the internet. It's very interesting how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Very interesting how that works. But that's a story for another time. That being said, yeah, I mean, that's the reason why, like, there's a lot of fear in communism back in the day, so I don't doubt that part, yeah.
You fast forward to the 80s, and Irving Kristol, the godfather of neoconservatism, he's one of these guys, by the way, who's getting money from the CIA. He starts up a group with a number of other Jews, and they start seeding money for student
with other Jews. So when you say that, do you mean just more people that were in Israel that were just like some like contacts of the CIA, or like were there Jews that were being put into the CIA? Like that is important to know.
Newspapers at all the top schools.
Damn.
Stanford, Dartmouth, U Chicago, and some of the most famous conservatives today got that money, and that is how they got their start. They started these student newspapers. They start writing for them.
This is so fucking unhinged.
And then,
like, I hope we understand how legitimately just unhinged this shit, like, this is. Like,
they climb up the ladder doing commentary, doing broadcasting, and now these are like the biggest hosts at Fox News. Like, one of the ones, for example, was Dinesh D'Souza.
Just to interrupt you here, usually when someone interrupts it, like just to something good, I'm like, just to interrupt you here, this does sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to just go start up some student
newspapers.
newspapers.
Like spy fiction. It's cool.
I think it might be able to monetize this at some point. We should start student newspapers.
I pray to God that YouTube doesn't monetize you, Sam Hyde. I pray to God.
Papers. How much does it even cost?
I don't think YouTube would ever monetize Sam Hyde, just to be clear. Like, knowing the history that he has, like, he's very open about just being that. I guess monetization is a thing on Twitter, so maybe Elon Musk is willing to accept you, considering he is perfectly fine with unbanning Alex Jones and a bunch of other white supremacists that Elon Musk was comfortable platforming.
Also, they're good at getting like a bang for their buck, you know, with like local, like they realize you need like Soros, you fund like the local guys, you just get more. Like, what does it cost? Like $2,500 to, you know, turn some neighborhood into a shit show. How much does a student newspaper? It's like $375.
That could be our next big endeavor. That is pretty fun.
So look, these guys, so the guys that got their start up the commentary, public figure, speaker ladder with the student newspaper track, like at what point are they compromised in the sense that they're subsuming their values and their journalistic integrity to what money? Is that what it is?
So, oh my God, I can't with these fucking insinuations, dude. It's like this whole idea that Israel and Jewish people are compromising conservatives and all these other people. Basically, this is them. I get it now. Like, this is them attempting to try to say that conservatives who are even somewhat sympathetic to Jewish people are essentially being groomed by this idea that this idea went back decades. That is the message of this entire thing. Like, at first I didn't understand, but like I get it now. Like, after doing research on a lot of these topics, it is fucking insane what they try to insinuate here. Like, there's no factual basis on any of it whatsoever.
They're convinced that working for the CIA or intelligence is patriotic. I think that they're convinced that they're with the so-called good guys, the good faction inside intelligence that is sort of, you know, ideologically aligned with us. To tell you the truth, a lot of them are marginal types from the beginning. Somebody like Peter Thiel.
What do you mean marginal?
So he's a gay man.
Yeah.
Gay people are typically marginal, or, you know, a lot of them are Jewish.
They are marginal. Wait, what?
Jewish people are marginal also.
When you say
a lot of them are Jewish. Oh, okay. So I thought he was about to say all gay men were Jewish. I'm like, that's fucking insane. I don't think that's what Nick Fuentes was saying here. I think he was just saying Jewish people are marginalized, which is true. They are marginalized. So are gay people historically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gay people are typically marginal, or, you know, a lot of them are Jewish. Jewish people are marginal also.
When you say marginal, you mean not like core person type? They're like on the fringes?
Absolutely.
Okay. So they're like an outsider. They're more willing to accept like weird kind of ideas. Is that what you mean?
Well, weird ideas, and, you know, they might be able to be compromised in some ways, specifically like gay people.
Oh my God. Dude, what are we? This is fucking crazy. You would have to be I want to say you have to be a fucking idiot to believe any of this, but I do genuinely believe Sam Hyde is a smart person. He's just such an abysmal fucking person that you do have to be an idiot to buy into any of this, just to be fucking clear. Like, this is fucking just outwardly, this is insane, like, extremist conspiracy level shit. Like, this is the kind of stuff that white supremacists legitimately talk about when they try to, like, when they bring guns around and, like, do all this crazy shit. If you've watched the movie Imperium, that's, you can find out more about that stuff, and the stuff that they talk about. Because a lot of how they talk in Imperium is exactly the same way that Sam Hyde and Nick Fuentes are talking here. If you've ever seen that movie, I'd highly recommend it. It's a pretty damn good movie.
There's a huge vulnerability. I mean, like, there's a big reason Jeffrey Epstein trafficked in pedophilia. There's a big reason why a lot of these public...
Why do you think that is, Nick, huh?
Figures, I don't think it's a coincidence, get outed for pedophilia.
When you say marginal, you mean there's something about them that's exploitable?
Dude, what are we fucking talking about here?
Be able to be compromised in some ways, specifically like gay people. There's a huge vulnerability. These public figures, I don't think it's a coincidence, get outed for pedophilia.
When you say marginal, you mean...
So, is essentially saying that Jewish people, which that's a new thing. I haven't heard the conspiracy that all Jewish people are pedophiles. That's a brand new thing I haven't heard at all. That's like new here. But they are also running with the same stereotype that gay people and trans people are also pedophiles, which is not true. A pedophile could be anybody. It does not matter what your identity is. Pedophilia is it's a very specific thing. We don't need to run through the DSM-5 definition of it again, but yeah, that's it has nothing to do with being gay or trans, that's for sure.
There's something about them that's exploitable.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could be an ethnic affinity, it could be a sexual eccentricity, which could be used for blackmail purposes. There's a lot of different vectors, I think, but it's almost never just like normal people.
It's never just
Oh my god, what are you talking about? January 6thers were pedophiles. And so is President fucking Trump. You guys, I mean, listen, to be fair, I guess you did bring that up earlier, but like what are you talking about? Some of the most weird fucking people are, the more people that are likely to be pedophiles, from what I've seen anyways, is the fact that a lot of priests specifically, and just to be clear, this is not like a dig at priests, you know, there are normal priests out there. But, like, if anything, people that are, like, willing to abuse a power dynamic more with your communication with God, which is something that a lot of conservatives run defense for more than liberals do. What else do we have? Again, Trump, and not to mention, the president that you guys voted for, that most of you guys voted for into the United fucking States, also tried to pardon P. Diddy. He surrounds himself with all kinds of predators. He pardoned the January 6thers. He sympathizes with Andrew Tate and tried to pressure Romania to, like, pardon him as well. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we, like, if anything, you guys seem to be the perpetrators of pedophiles more than the left are. Not to say that, like, liberals or leftists can't be pedophiles, because there certainly have been before, but, like, it's very interesting that you guys are not willing to talk about that.
Likes peanut M&Ms. Know what I mean?
It's an M&M minis guy. Needs the
It's
tube.
these fucking M&M minis guys.
Needs the tube, a specific color. He's like, you got the yellow tube? And he won't buy them unless it's the yellow tube.
Strangely fits. Anyway, sorry, continue.
So I don't know the psychological profile necessarily, but needless to say, they start getting this buy-in. They receive the money, they receive the career advancement, doors open up for that person. Maybe somewhere along the way they understand what's happening, but they rationalize it. I've heard many different stories about how it works, but it always starts at the college level, which sort of makes sense. Because if you think about Harvard, Stanford, Yale, they are selecting for the highest IQ people, and the government wants the highest IQ people because intelligence...
Well, no, it's actually more about the fact that if you have money, believe it or not, a lot of these Ivy Leagues is if you can afford it. Because again, you have to remember college is a business at the end of the day. They're not really... like, yes, you do have to have good credentials on your school and stuff, but, like, IQ is not necessarily measured by your credentials in school. Some people could have good credentials and be really fucking stupid. That's a thing. You'd be surprised.
Intelligence, you know.
Because, like, there's a lot of, like, doctoring and stuff, and especially with, like, the rise of AI, too. Like, people are taking all sorts of shortcuts.
Sort of in the name. Also, these intelligence networks, they need to be the most technically sophisticated, operationally sophisticated. So they go, where are the smart people? They're at the elite universities. And so, you know, you might think it's sort of like when you look at Turning Point USA or, college Republicans, you might think that's kind of nothing. It's peanuts. It's dorky. It's silly. But these 18-year-old people, these 18-year-old, 19-year-old young guys who are ideologically conservative, these are the future leaders. These are the 130, 150 IQ guys. They're going to be fighting the Chinese and fighting the Iranians and fighting Russian intelligence.
Just to be 100% clear, yes, it is true that we've been seeing a lot of younger men, specifically my age, I'm 23 years old, my age and younger, a lot of younger men are becoming more right-leaning and conservative, especially after, Trump came into office. It's just become very popular, especially to become, a right-wing grifter online. It's very popular to do. Is it going to continue to be popular? Probably not. I mean, Trump is falling off, so we are starting to see some shifts in that, but it's still very, very good, even, with some of the hits that it's taking. That being said, I pray to God that they don't become leaders, for your sake, Nick.
So that's where...
Actually, for their sake, more than anything else, just to be clear.
They go for them. And it's also when they're impressionable. It's also when they're malleable. So
It's very interesting. Weren't you just communicating that the CIA was being groomed by Jewish people, but now you're saying that we should be grooming these children into becoming more like fucking white supremacists? Didn't you just combat against this, Nick? What the fuck? You literally were just saying they're a lot more malleable, so let's take advantage of them, become more white supremacists. What the fuck? Why are you so weird?
Understood the significance of education until I thought of these institutions as elite-making institutions. Harvard graduates the elites of the world. Yale graduates the elites of the world. So the intelligence networks want to get their pincers in those people when they're young. And then, so a guy like Irving Kristol puts together this money with these other guys from the CIA, and they seed the money for conservative student newspapers. And, these 19-year-old kids, they think it's funny. A guy like Stephen Miller, that's how he got his start. He was writing letters to David Horowitz, who's a talk radio host, and he was a student newspaper guy doing polemical stuff, shitting on Mexicans and, black people and Palestinians and the rest of it.
I was just
Candace Owens, by the way, approves of these people, by the way, just to be clear. They shitting on black people, but Candace Owens approves of them. All right.
Think about David Portnoy. But sorry, go ahead.
Pizza reviews they should get into.
Yeah.
And so that's how they get groomed. And then, they go from a student newspaper to a local newspaper.
You literally just implied earlier that these are going to be future neo-Nazis, essentially. This is what you implied earlier, but okay.
Fox News.
Or white supremacists, I guess, but it's very interchangeable at this point.
And they're a household name. And they're the big Fox News name.
Was your point of contact, you're sort of the vampire that changes you, was that Cassie Dillon?
Yes.
That's literally she converted to Judaism afterwards.
I looked her up, by the way. She's ugly.
Is she ugly?
Yes.
She's not hot.
You could pull up a picture.
Which made me upset.
Just to be clear, first of all, that's not true. Jewish people are hot. I don't know who this Cassie Dillon person is. Okay, it's just that there's a very insidious anti-Semitic dog whistle happening here. They haven't been dog whistling as much. They've actually been pretty damn overt with a lot of this other stuff that they've been talking about, but still.
Sure. Who said the thing about the price of a man's soul being so low? It's it's not that everybody has a price, it's that most people's price is so low.
Ouch, yeah.
It's also the case that the bitches they hook these guys up with are butt ugly.
That's the price.
Yeah, that's the prize. That's what they get. But they're
Jewish women are pretty damn hot. From all the Jewish women I've seen anyways. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Not hot.
Also, Nick Fuentes earlier said something about Palestinians. They're shitting on Palestinians. That's a good thing. I guess he just hates everybody. I don't know. You'd think, I just wonder where his priorities are. Does he hate Jewish people more or Palestinians more? I'd be curious. I guess it doesn't really matter. It'd be splitting hairs at that point, but still, I'd be curious.
It was sad.
Is she genetically Jewish?
No, she converted.
Why is her face all fucked up then? Converted from what? Ugly bitch? If a beat bitch came to me and texted me saying you gotta change your opinions, I'd say, bitch, get surgery.
Oh, man. All right.
Now, Cassie Dillon, she might have great
What? I don't even want to know what he said there.
Is that her appeal? I don't know how this stuff works. Is it just that the so good it offsets the ugliness? Anyway, I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here. I just know this bitch is beat.
That's her.
She's good.
Oh, no, she's attractive. That's what she looks like? Cassie Dillon? Yeah, no, she's attractive. A lot of Jewish women are very attractive, though. Yeah, no.
They were good looking?
Yeah. She was cuter when she was younger.
Bitch.
Yeah, look.
What the fuck does that supposed to mean, Nick?
Get her there.
Some genetic.
She looks shrill, and she looks like she's ready to terrorize a man.
What are we talking? Wait, hold on a second. Okay. Cassie Dillon is 22 years old, so just to be clear, that's just to be clear. She's conservative though, so I guess that a bit of a turnoff there. I don't think we're gonna see eye to eye. I mean, she is an attractive woman. I guess I'll give her that, but we're probably not gonna see eye to eye. But she was 22 at the time of this article, which was 2018. So I guess she would be 28 at this point. Okay, whatever. I just had to do an age check there. I wanted to make sure I didn't get like in too much fucking trouble there. Jesus Christ.
There.
When you were coming up, you had hot opinions, and people were looking at you saying, this kid's hot. And you get paired up with this chick to sort of show you the ropes and kind of introduce you to the world of whatever the fuck leads to being on Fox News, whatever. And you start questioning basically Jewish stuff, and she starts texting you stuff. You can't talk about this. We're gonna excise you from the friend group. These types of like texts to let you know that you're on dangerous ground.
So she is conservative, but she's obviously gonna not be anti-Semitic, I guess. She seems like a pretty like normal conservative person from what I saw, though. She's not like super MAGA. I could be totally wrong on that. I don't know much about this Cassie Dillon person, so I'm willing to be wrong on that. But like, it definitely seemed like she was more of just like a normal conservative, which I guess is fine. I disagree with you heavily, but like, it's at least you're not MAGA, which is like fucking unhinged, and you're part of a cult essentially if you're in MAGA.
Yeah, I think she tried to fuck me too. I think it was like a honeypot situation. The first thing she asked me when I met her is if I would ever fly to Israel. That was her. It could not be less subtle.
Oh my god.
Fly to Israel to fuck. That's the one key weakness. They gotta get better looking bitches.
Better.
That's definitely not true. Israeli women are pretty damn hot. I don't know about you.
Look at the ingredients.
Better pizza. Papa John's.
But it's just like, I don't know. It's like Nick Fuentes is like, traveling to Israel, which is obviously, yeah.
Really fumbled.
About as anti-Semitic as you can get, I guess.
The ball hard.
Oh,
She came out the gates, you want to go to Israel, came on real strong, and then she has to report back to whoever and be like, I think I accidentally created Nick Fuentes. Oops.
She was so ugly, she created Nick Fuentes.
I mean, I guess you're technically not wrong. I mean, I don't think she would be the one that created you because she wasn't that ugly. But you are generally a ugly... just inside and out, I guess, Nick. Yeah.
Is she the only one? Did they send more? Did they? Let's try this one.
I think there were more after, but it was mainly, she was the main one. And
is this how Nick Fuentes got radicalized? Maybe that. I guess that's like the overall message that they're fucking doing, but still.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was actually that simple. She just wasn't that hot.
It's like Charlie's Angels. If they don't get you with that one, they send them.
I don't think her being hot has any... This might be weird. I actually don't think her being hot has anything to do with this conversation. They're just saying that she's ugly because they already hate Jewish people, so that's going to naturally turn them off. Listen, your hatred for somebody... This is a real thing, psychologically speaking. If their hatred for Jewish people is legitimate, which I don't doubt it is, it very likely is how they feel, because again, Sam Hyde uses his anti-Semitic views or jokes to communicate how he feels about it. Same for Nick Fuentes. But also, like, if their hatred for Jewish people is actually there, they may think she's less attractive because of that alone. Like, that is a real thing, psychologically speaking. I'll tell you a little story. Back in high school, I really liked this one chick. She was like super upper middle class and whatever, and she broke my heart, obviously, because she was not into me, very clearly. She wasn't into me, so that kind of sucked for me. It is what it is. But I was into her at the time. She seemed like a super smart chick, and I tend to really like smart chicks. That's like a huge thing I enjoy, I guess. But, yeah, she obviously was not interested in me, and that was definitely heartbreaking. But as I started to see how more obnoxious she was and how, like, I experienced that, like, bit of heartbreak, I guess as a result, I started to think, oh, wow, you're not as attractive now. I, like, looked at pictures of her. I was like, oh, yeah, you're actually not that attractive. That's, like, a real thing, psychologically speaking, that a lot of people think. Like, that's a very, very real thing. And so they probably think that she's not attractive because of their hatred for Jewish people. That's kind of what I'm getting at here.
Black one, then they send a Chinese one. They send a bunch of different flavors to see if they can get you.
They send Charlie in?
Well, it's Epstein is the guy. Right. And then the last one is to get you on the plane with the kids.
And then they become the agent.
Yeah, I guess Trump was trying to get on with the kids as well. I mean, he literally said he would fuck his own daughter. So I'm curious to know what they think about that, I suppose.
Peter Thiel, for example, he starts the Stanford Review at Stanford. And if you look, it's crazy. Stanford Review is like a who's who of defense contractors, which you wouldn't think. It's supposed to be like a polemical, conservative college newspaper, but it's a who's who of drone developers, like all these people that are making weapons for the Department of Defense, like Joe Lonsdale, who then went on to work with Peter Thiel. And so Peter Thiel, he writes this book about the diversity myth in 1995. He writes a number of other publications, and then he goes on to work for the CIA full-time doing Palantir. And then he goes into a full-time intelligence defense contractor position. And now they're collecting all the data on people that criticize Israel for the government.
That Alex Karp guy, he said that his greatest fear is that the alt-right, his greatest fear is the alt-right. Mm-hmm. That's not good.
Yeah, and specifically, he said his greatest fear is that Christian nationalists will take power and then throw him out of a window, specifically for being Jewish.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's our guy.
What do you think about these Indians?
I don't know if I can make it through. We're 34 minutes in. We're more than halfway done with this. We might as well just finish it. We're already committing at this point. We've committed so much to it. Do I speed this up even further? No, I think we just keep going at 1.25 times speed.
Not a fan.
Yeah, shocker. You're not a fan of anyone that isn't white. Listen, anyone that isn't a white Christian is going to be problematic to Nick Fuentes and Sam Hyde, likely, because that's their view of who American people should be, essentially. We know this because of the Sam Hyde's video to Elon Musk earlier this year that he released.
Gonna go with it is Usha Vance. JD Vance's wife is Indian. Mm-hmm. You have like half of Twitter like hates Indians, and then they're also extremely pro Vance and his kid.
Yeah, you can thank Elon Musk for that, because it's like they just hate. They hate everybody there on Twitter that isn't white. Like it's all white supremacists there. So yeah, shocker.
Kids are dressed like Indians in India. Mm-hmm. His first son's name is Vivek, and he went to college with Vivek.
This is why a lot of conservatives blame H-1B visas. Like, a lot of people on Twitter specifically blame a lot of the problems of, like, not having enough jobs in, like, tech fields and stuff on H-1B visas. This is mainly the reason why, is because a lot of them are Indian. That's like legitimately the main reason why. So whenever I hear someone making a point about H-1B visas from like a conservative, I get skeptical just almost immediately, because it just seems like you're really trying to dog whistle that Indian people are terrible.
You can't write this shit.
No, it's like the Bill Barr, the Epstein thing, this shit. The segue was like Thiel to Vance to Usha and Vivek.
That sounds like one of the, what's the Upanishads? It sounds like something out of one of those ancient books.
It does have a sort of ancient ring to it.
It's frightening to me, especially that ancient Indian stuff. That's like
because modern Indian's frightening as is. You go back into the murky depths of time.
It only gets murkier.
Yeah,
from
the
here.
anglerfish of Indian existence down there somewhere.
It doesn't.
Oh my god, it's fucking. I don't know how much longer I can listen to this. This is crazy.
Get more clear. The water's.
It's like I don't know. Like I could act surprised, but I'm just not. Like I'm very like at this point I'm just so like desensitized to all of it. It's like very. It's just like constant fucking dog whistling that Indian people are like gross, disgusting people here, just like nonstop. Like it's like I could act surprised, but at this point it's like, what more could I say? Like we already know how gross this is.
Muddier the deeper you go sure on that one. Do you play games, Nick?
I do, yeah.
What do you play?
I'm basic. I just play like Fortnite, and I play map games.
Ew, you play Fortnite?
I play Civ 5, Call of War.
Civ 5, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love Civilization. What society do you pick?
Oh, Rome every time.
So with Rome every time? I go with the Uzbeks. Now, I usually look to see who has the biggest advantage and then go with that. But I think, you know what Civilization is?
Nope.
It's this game where you pick your civilization from all the civilizations that have ever existed, and you start a little like sim nation, it's a sim game.
Okay.
But the advantage is like if you pick an African, it's like you get higher birth rate. I don't think I don't think they have anything like that in there. I'm sure they're smart enough to not do that, but each civilization has an advantage.
They're smart enough not to do that. So I feel like that writes itself.
Right. I wonder if there are any of them that are funny, like Africans with higher birth rates.
India has a funny one. It's like the population can be really big and happiness is really low.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, with like billions of people and shit.
Yeah. It's like hard mode.
They can tolerate anything. That's amazing.
Yeah.
People would say that's weird that there's no Jewish option, but you as the player are, because you're controlling everything.
Oh my god. I fucking saw that coming from a mile away. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Is there an Israeli civilization?
There isn't, no.
That would make me sick if I fired up civilization.
If you get far enough as a Brit, you then create the state of Israel. Yeah, that's how you win the game.
It's one of the world wonders, is creating Israel.
My big thing is I'm just soaking in the failure of this administration. Every successive failure of Trump is just like, that has been my source of enjoyment for the past 5 months.
What are the failures?
The discussion about amnesty for illegal farmers.
What's his stance here on amnesty?
Again, I mean, like, listen, my stance on illegal immigration is that, like, illegal immigrants, it's a tough situation and, like, problem to solve because they do contribute to the economy in a lot of meaningful ways. But, like, the illegal immigrants, you can't just, like, deport illegal immigrants for that reason specifically, is because of their contributions to the economy and their meaningful impact on society that they have. So you can't just do that specifically. You would have to... Again, I agree that people should be coming here legally, but that doesn't mean Trump should be robbing them of due process. It seems like Nick Fuentes wants to kick them out for those reasons specifically. I don't know, man. It's just... at this point, it's like I'm very desensitized to all the dog whistling here.
So, last year they're promising mass deportations. That was the big tagline.
We didn't get that, right?
No, we're not getting it. They stopped publishing the figures. Right. They have not published one number for 6 months, which never happens. And so that was the big promise. And, but of course the entire year last year he had his fingers crossed behind his back. Whenever they pressed him, he would say, well, we're going to get the violent criminals out first. We'll worry about everybody else later. And so fast forward to now, they arrested 70,000 people, which is nothing in 5 months. And they're already saying, well, now we're going to strategically do mass deportations by not deporting anybody that works on a farm, in a restaurant, in a construction site, in a hotel, which is like all the migrant labor. They're basically throwing in the towel 5 months in.
They're just leaving the listless ones that have nothing better to do than crime and rapes.
Yeah.
At least the other ones have they're semi-integrated. That seems like the worst idea.
I don't even know how to respond to that at this point. Like, it's like I said, I'm very like desensitized from like all of this. It's like it's just like not even worth engaging with.
It's a total joke.
Just move on from it. Like, what more could I say?
So people like you and me, we were part of this big wave in 2016, which Trump obviously led. He was the nucleus of it and the center of it. And I think that the energy around...
Is Nick Fuentes QAnon? Like, is he like a legitimate QAnon person? Because that kind of seems like something a QAnon person would say. I don't know if that's actually true. He might be. I have no clue. There may not be evidence to support it, but I wouldn't entirely doubt it either. I don't know.
Him started
I suppose someone who is QAnon wouldn't outwardly admit or say that they are QAnon. They would probably go on like anonymous forum posts elsewhere. That's like the whole idea of it, right? Or I guess Proton Mail would be like another way of doing it. Because like QAnon is pretty much like censored everywhere. Like on TikTok, YouTube, like forget it. I don't know so much about YouTube, but TikTok definitely. You can't talk about QAnon without getting banned on TikTok.
Off realistically almost immediately after he won the election the first time. I think he's no longer funny. He got off Twitter. He's not even based anymore. I think about the things that he says. There's just not one. He's pro-Jewish. He's pro-diversity, pro-black, all these different things.
I don't think Trump cares about any of those things, just to be clear. He is buddy-buddy with Netanyahu, so I guess he is pro-Jewish, I suppose, but I say that very loosely because I'm not trying to be charitable to Trump at all.
So last year, you had all these people that were really not on our side back then, people like Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich and a lot of these other guys, trying to meme him as like he's still spiritually what he was the first time. And to me, I just thought that was just a complete and total betrayal. It's like people like myself found ourselves on the outside looking in, and all those people back then who were alt-right or establishment are now the ultimate insiders of Trump.
I think you're a little more than fucking right-leaning or far-right. I think that goes a little beyond, like being a white supremacist and you might as well be a fucking neo-Nazi, Nick Fuentes. At this point, you might as well like be a legitimate neo-Nazi with some of the shit you were saying in this interview. Just like constantly fucking giving anti-Semitic dog whistles and pushing these conspiracy theories that Jews have infiltrated the CIA. Fuck out of here, dude. It's so insidious.
World. No deportations. He bombed Iran, which at one time that was almost like synonymous with
starting World War III?
Well, and what the Jews always wanted. Like bombing Iran was like a punchline. If you wanted to say somebody was so pro-Israel it's ridiculous, you would say they're going to...
I feel like these people hate Jews more than they hate colored people. Like, they hate colored people for sure. Don't get me wrong. They are, like, because, again, these are white supremacists. But, like, I feel like these people hate Jews more than anything.
start a war with Iran. They're going to bomb Iran.
Yeah.
And then he did it.
What did he bomb?
He bombed their most fortified nuclear facility where they enrich uranium. Of course, he promised no new wars. And a big reason I didn't vote for him is because I said he's going to bomb Iran. The Israelis have been pushing for years, and they're finally going to achieve it with him.
No, the reason why Israel bombed Iran, again, I don't sympathize with Netanyahu. I think Netanyahu's a fucking war criminal, but the reason why they did that was because they had a nuclear test site, and that they were, not so much a test site, but they were literally getting to the point where it could have been an imminent threat using nuclear weapons, and Israel wanted to stop that entirely. Because there's no doubt that Iran would not be afraid to use it on Israel specifically to wipe it off the fucking map. Again, I don't like Netanyahu. I don't support him at all, but that's the reason why they attacked Iran. That's like the main reason they did it.
You know,
it's not this fucking dumb conspiracy that you're like pushing here.
Gets into office and everybody says there's going to be no new wars, we're going to stay out of it. And then of course Israel starts the war with Iran. They bomb Iran, they do these drone strikes, they do airstrikes, and then
Iran retaliated and attacked Tel Aviv.
Pro-Trump.
But you're not gonna mention it. He's not gonna mention that because he doesn't think Jews are people, so he doesn't think it's worth mentioning. Jews are subhuman to Nick Fuentes, so he's not gonna talk about it.
People said, well, we should stay out of it. Of course, we're deeply involved. We start shooting Iran's missiles out of the sky. We start moving airplanes and aircraft carriers into the region. Then they said, well, we shouldn't get involved offensively. Then everybody starts saying, well, we should bomb Iran's nuclear program. Then they said, well, we could bomb the nuclear
program. That was the reason why they attacked them in the first place, yeah.
But we shouldn't do regime change. We shouldn't put boots on the ground. Then we bomb the nuclear program, and the next day, Trump is saying, we need to do regime change.
Has Trump said that?
He did. He said it the day after.
Regime change? Mm-hmm. Can we look that up? What is Trump saying about regime change in Iran?
On Truth Social, the day after he bombed Iran, he said, why wouldn't we do regime change? The people hate the government's failing. We should get a new government to make Iran great again.
Oh, wow.
And then everybody started saying, well, regime change might not be so bad.
It's a weird thing to declare while wearing a bow tie.
Well, no, this is MIGA. This is Make Iran Great Again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is kind of a bow tie situation.
Absolutely.
MIGA.
This is a top. Why is he not wearing a top hat?
I know they wanted to say the N-word so badly there because it kind of sounds like it. Like if you hear it like really fast, I know they definitely want to say it, but they won't because they'll get banned off YouTube if they do.
Maybe he is, and maybe like he's in the middle of saying something that makes it like float off his head for a second.
That's probably actually true, yeah.
Right.
Or someone's shooting at him. The hat's just
and it didn't get shot off; it's dodging the bullets.
Yeah,
right.
He's that good.
It's a great hat.
We bombed that nuclear facility, but didn't he bomb the entryway of it? Like, did it actually do damage?
No. He's saying that he destroyed it, but the Europeans, the Iranians, the Israelis, the United States, we all say, no, we didn't destroy it at all. And so that's kind of the...
That's definitely... Hold on a second. Okay, so Nick Fuentes' claims here, I guess I'll read it to you. Israel's initial strikes on June 13th severely damaged the Natanz enrichment complex, which was one of the sites that was using Iran's uranium enrichment hub. Satellite imagery showed a crater over a underground facility with the IAEA, assessing that subterranean enrichment halls were likely severely damaged, if not destroyed altogether. U.S. strikes on June 21st further damaged Natanz, with U.S. officials claiming extremely severe damage and destruction. And then Fordow, which is another uranium enrichment plant, buried deep underground, was initially unscathed by the strikes. However, the bombers apparently had a major effect on it, according to the U.S. assessments. But Nick Fuentes says that there weren't any damage, according to U.S. and Europe and all these people, which is just factually not true. And then Isfahan Nuclear Technology Center involving a uranium conversion was hit by both Israel and U.S. strikes. U.S. Tomahawk missiles, they torched buildings, including the uranium conversion facility, though the nuclear fuel stockpile was reportedly spared. That's as much as that. That's, if you want to give the most charitable way they survived it, that is pretty much the closest they got to surviving, essentially, was the nuclear stockpile that they could easily get to, like, another center. Maybe not easily. It definitely is a setback, but like the base itself is destroyed, and it's a massive setback. So again, Nick Fuentes is trying to make it seem like there was no effect done whatsoever, and that Jews are pointless in their destruction for these other people. That the Jews are ineffective. I feel like that's what I'm getting from what Nick Fuentes is saying from this, but it's very obviously just another. It's more disinformation that he's pushing.
The next step is they're
So couldn't that be 4D chess, though, Nick?
Yes.
I don't know.
So you have the amnesty that they're discussing, bombing Iran, and then, of course, the biggest thing is the Epstein cover-up, which it's like the most obvious. He published, I put something on my Telegram. In 2016, a Trump tweet was like, I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke. And now the tweets are like a page long. It's like, this is a tweet? It's like it's a page long. It's an essay.
Well, I knew somebody in my life who drank diet drinks, and he wasn't overweight, so I'm not really sure where that comes from.
You're talking about the Pam Bondi double pager?
Yes.
We'll pull that up in post. Let's pull it up right now. Let's just see what he's saying. So the commentary coming out of Trump with regard to Epstein, it's not punchy. It doesn't have that traditional Trump snap to it. It's in fact, it's 2 fucking pages long of him sort of pressing people to move on from the topic. What's going on with my boys? And
it's interesting that they are willing to criticize Trump. I'm kind of surprised by that, not gonna lie, because a lot of white supremacists seem to really like Trump, but I guess not these guys apparently. But yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting how Trump was willing to bring up the Epstein files. He literally signal boosted the Epstein files, saying he'd release them, and he's like, why is everybody talking about them in his presidency? People should stop talking about it, even though the only reasonable solution that the only reasonable explanation that Trump is not talking about it or doesn't want to talk about it, he's avoiding it, is because he's probably on the files himself. That's like the most plausible explanation.
in some cases, gals. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. He's bemoaning how the Epstein thing won't go away. And he's saying that it's radical left-inspired document concoction.
He's basically saying it's fake. People are, of course, Epstein was blackmailing everybody and ran a sex trafficking ring for that purpose and trafficked them for Israel. And
oh my fucking God, dude, this is insane. Dude, this is fucking crazy. Everything is Israel's fault. Everything has just been Israel's fault throughout this entire video. It's like, you know, just like, oh my God, CIA infiltrated by Israel. This is so fucking conspiracy brain that the Jews are just like running the fucking world. It's so fucking like, this is so, like, what do I even say to this anymore? Like, is this even like productive at this point?
Trump is on True Social publishing a page each day saying, hey guys, can we all move on? Like, this isn't I definitely wasn't on that island. Like, I had nothing to do with that, and we need to just stop talking about it altogether. I don't know. It's just like he's not funny anymore. He's not based. He's kind of like wrong on all the issues. This is not the golden age we were promised.
No. He's wrong because he sides with Netanyahu, I guess. That's like probably the biggest reason why Nick probably hates him.
More like a golden shower. It's like the golden shower in the Russian hotel.
We're getting pissed on at levels that, and I have to pretend I'm happy, right? But we're getting pissed on, wow, a lot of piss.
Yeah, it's not great. Not looking too good.
The thing is, that energy's got to go somewhere, right? Like, I mean, he started all this momentum deporting people. I remember hearing people, like, just people on the left going, oh, they're sending innocent people to where was it? Friggin' Shangri-La? Where was the prison they were sending them? I'm completely off the map.
You mean El Salvador's?
El Salvador, that's yeah, Shangri-La.
Seco or
yeah.
Tico?
Something like that.
CECOT, whatever their center is for bad guys.
So now everybody's mad. You got, you know, Mexicans throwing bricks at ICE vehicles and stuff. That's all the stuff I'm seeing.
Well, no. I mean, it was not just Mexicans. It was people in like all over the place from like the ICE protests. They were like throwing bricks at like police and ICE. It wasn't just Mexicans that were doing that.
Can't put the genie back in the bottle, though. Mm-hmm. Like, where's all this momentum gonna go?
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted him to lose so that we could elect Ye in 2024. That was kind of, or in 2028. That was kind of my big idea. I think the country is ready to reject.
Oh, yeah. You mean Kanye, who's also a legitimate white supremacist and made a song called Hail Hitler? Yeah. I'm sure you would have loved him, Nick Fuentes. I'm sure that would have been fantastic for you.
Trump is like not radical enough.
Giga Trump.
And a true Hitler-level leader can arise in him because he's sort of preventing that from happening in a way.
From holding the spot.
Right. But this may be the best case scenario where his crash out might fuel the rise of that next person.
Almost like Arthur Fleck inspiring the creation of the next Joker who slashes him at the end of the thing.
That's
He's
right.
like, you want to know how I got these scars? And he shows you how he gets the scars.
Well, one thing that's true, I think that the the tides are turning publicly in a way that I couldn't have imagined back during the, sort of the dark ages. Back then, I think there was this energy. We were looking at Trump and thinking about, we were hopeful for the future and excited for what could come out of the Make America Great Again. But now I think that regular people are getting fed up, and regular people are starting they don't trust science, they don't trust official narratives. I mean, that part of it is kind of exciting. And also the censorship thing, we were talking about this, it seemed like it would just get worse and worse and worse forever. But now it's like, it's good, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, basically the plan was we were all going to get wiped from the internet completely.
Yeah.
Like not even be able to have a website or a bank account.
Unpersoned.
Yeah. And then when Trump got banned from Twitter, it just went in the opposite direction. And Twitter opened up and Instagram opened up. And now it feels like Twitter is like 4chan.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see every day, it's just all racist memes,
Well, I guess there's nothing, no disagreement there, considering, Twitter is a legitimate, it is a right-leaning platform. It just is. I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, people on the right are saying it's a left-leaning platform. No, it's a right-leaning platform. It's literally ran by Elon Musk, who unbanned Alex Jones. He unbanned all these things and, was allowed white supremacists to become platformed on Twitter. And they just, immediately, it just changed. And the algorithm is artificially inflated, so you see right-leaning stuff regardless of what your political alignment is. It's artificially inflated to be curated in that way.
Jewish memes. The red pill has truly gone mainstream.
Is Twitter suffering?
God, is Nick Fuentes red-pilled as well? I imagine maybe he is. I have no idea if he actually is.
I feel like, do regular people, do black people look at Twitter now and get pissed off, or are they just fine with it?
I think even the black people are racist at this point.
Well, black Twitter is its own thing.
The Fresh and Fit guy, you did that Fresh and Fit podcast. Mm-hmm. Did you do the Hodge twins?
I did, yeah.
How'd you like them?
They're great. Yeah,
I love those guys. I think they're awesome. Hodge twins.
Which one's better?
I have no idea who the Hodge twins are. Who are they? Oh, these guys. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen them around here and there, but not, enough. Not as much as Fresh and Fit.
Which one's better?
Yeah.
The one on the left.
Old lefty. Black people getting fed up with black people, I think that happens, in the hood. And I think they also have a lot of distrust that's,
Yeah, but, race has nothing to do with it. And it's...
valuable. They have a healthy amount of distrust, but maybe an unhealthy aim. And so they wind up distrusting things and I just found this out, dark cola. The reason why they prefer Sprite is because they think that they put in something in the brown, in the dark soda.
We're really just parroting every conspiracy theory we can think of, huh?
Just heard that.
Just with no basis. I'm not even going to bother fact-checking this one, because I already know this is not true. There's no reason to fact-check it. It would just be a waste of time. I kind of want to just get through this.
It's just like black schizophrenia now.
It's like we only have 13 minutes left, and I like I said, we just got to get through it, We just got to push through it.
Correct.
That's where we're moving.
but if that was aimed properly, they'd be great allies.
We have to calibrate black schizophrenia.
Yeah.
That's the next phase in true MAGA, or T-MAGA, as I call it, is calibrating black schizophrenia.
What the fuck is T-MAGA?
Weaponized autism plus weaponized,
We have to do our version of starting the college newspapers. We have to fund mixtapes.
Right.
Did you see that flood in Texas? Mm-hmm. Did you see the thing they're talking about with the weather modification?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that?
No.
Do you know what cloud seeding is?
I do, yeah.
So 2 days before this fatal flood, there's a company that's seeding clouds, and now the CEO, he's like a young kid, they're bringing the CEO around to explain that his technology is not what caused the floods that killed everybody. I'm glad I don't run a weather modification company after a fatal flood. Rainmaker is the company, and he's on the what's that guy's name? Sean Ryan?
Oh, yeah, the veteran.
Are you going to go on Sean Ryan?
I don't think he's going to invite me.
He's not.
Yeah, no.
I don't blame him.
I like soldiers and troop guys who they're the most badass.
All right, I'm going to pause the video for a moment. I need to take a break. This is, I just don't have a lot I'm saying to a lot of this shit. It's very, it's a lot. It's just dumb conspiracy bullshit, and I need to, I just need to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll finish the last 11 minutes of this soon. All right, we're back. I also put this on 1.5 times speed because I do kind of want to get through this. So we have 11 minutes left. Let's just finish this up.
They've killed thousands of people, and they've had bullets whizzing over your head. If you talk to them on camera about Israel and tried to get them to commit to any type of opinion, they would turn into like pee-pee pants, poo-poo baby man. Like the toughest guy. Who's that guy, Shrek? I'll tell you, man, we were in Osama bin Laden's baseball dugout. We were in a 440 ATX. We had Razor ATVs out there. I killed everyone, and then I took their hats. Yeah. John McPhee.
Do we want to meet him or him versus Tim Kennedy?
A short of him.
What if the units are amazing?
Have you seen this guy?
Took a guy right out back this building right now and shot him. What would you do?
If I shot up this building
it's
right
none
now,
of my business.
I'd blow this whole building up.
Yeah, first off, don't think I just cakewalked through it like John Wayne in some movie. I was on the worst team ever. I thought it was brilliant. I thought every minute was frightening.
But can you imagine trying to get this guy to say anything serious about like the capture of our government by this hostile foreign actor? It's not going to happen. Sean Ryan's a badass operator. But
just how do people like this exist? I don't get it, man. Like, what causes you to go down this rabbit hole of just believing these like unproven conspiracy theories of just like jargon? Like, that's all this is. It's just like conspiracy theory slop jargon. And it's like so hateful. It's like I'm curious to know what causes people to become this radicalized.
He was interviewing the guy that did the cloud seeding. Can you pull that up? Feels like a theater show so that they don't kill the guy. Here's the reasons why, if you're a Texas father who lost his daughter in the flood that I caused, here's why not to kill me.
Funding comes from the Texas Weather Modification, whatever group that you were talking about, correct? So note, she said geoengineering. Mm-hmm. I don't do geoengineering. I do weather modification, and that difference is really important.
When I saw that the cloud seeding thing, the last time I heard anything about that was people swearing up and down and shouting to the high heavens that it's fake.
Yeah,
and that if you believe in it, you're a kook. And now it's just like, it's not even acknowledged that it's a thing.
Between that and the Wi-Fi watching you clip.
Let's do Wi-Fi watching you.
I'm telling you guys do. If for someone who is like trying to say, oh my god, these guys are conspiracy theorists, you sure do like to perpetrate a lot of conspiracy theories for someone who claims that other people do.
All about
using motion, your motion to detect you in your home, Wi-Fi signals to detect you in your home at no extra cost. So that's free.
So this is a free security feature that comes with your internet now. Is that if you're away from home, your devices can alert you when there's motion. But I think it can also like image the room. Is that a thing that it can do?
Fun fact: SWAT teams use this.
It's kind of something we're seeing a lot of AI do these days.
To figure out where gunmen are positioned behind a door. Oh, they triggered a sort of like a pattern within a hard drive, like the fan system, to produce a code that could reveal passwords or something.
Like kind of interesting.
That is very interesting. That's cool.
I know they can. Each keystroke on a keyboard has a distinct signal of some sort. You can tell what somebody's typing remotely just based on like the emissions from the keyboard. That's kind of interesting. It's crazy how language is weaponized. Your interview with Candace. I'm not gonna like shit on Candace or something, but you were talking about stuff that's like.
I'm not gonna shit on Candace, by the way. The reason why he's like holding himself back from it is because like Candace is conservative, but also because she's black. That's why he wanted to shit on Candace at first, but he's not going to because she's on his side and she platforms these two. So he doesn't want to like completely remove the possibility of being on there. Just to be clear, that's like the entire subliminal like message behind what Sam Hyde just said there. I hope we like understand that.
Take fucking years to make a regular person understand the subtleties of the psyop and like language.
Oh god, what are we talking about now?
Like Judeo-Christian. It would take you 10 years of your own personal research to figure out what the fuck is going on when they do Judeo-Christian. So once you get it, it's
jeez, all right.
Like it's such an obvious like.
It's like I could act surprised, but like this is something we've just seen throughout this entire like video. They're just like perpetrating conspiracy theories, and I don't even feel like fact checking this one. Like there's no reason I have to believe it.
Like a knife, you know what I mean? To subvert, like they killed Christ. The name of your murderer and then your name to describe something that you. That's a system of beliefs based on you. It's like, this is your system of beliefs. First, we're going to use the name of your murderer.
Yeah, it's like Judeo-Nazi. It's like a Hitler.
Yeah, You sound like a Judeo-Nazi right now, man. I don't like that. White House press secretary takes off cross for Epstein announcement lie.
Wild if true.
Yeah, that was like a QAnon operation. You see that?
How are the QAnon guys doing these days? I haven't checked in.
I don't know how they're still going with everything that's going on, but...
I don't know how they're still going, but like... I tried to look up. I was curious. I tried to look up to see if Nick Fuentes was QAnon. I couldn't find anything, so I guess there's no evidence to support that he himself was QAnon, but maybe he talks to people who are QAnon, and so he gets updates from them. Either way, it's very shady shit.
I saw their latest theory when Trump gave a speech, I think on 4th of July. They said the American flags didn't have yellow fringe on the sides of the flag, and that was a message to them that patriots are back in control.
Well, wasn't he wearing a yellow tie as well at some point? And I think that also was something that was like a big deal for me. When I saw the yellow tie, it was like the bat signal coming in. That's actually the video we collaborated on was QAnon inspired back in the day. You remember that?
Yeah, Ronald
that was
McDonald.
A good-ass video.
That was.
Yeah.
jeez. All right. Okay, dude.
And that's some of that stuff snuck into the lexicon there, the Ronald McDonald code word activation stuff. That's like the funniest stuff.
Code word, yeah, dog whistles.
Stuff to me
is what I like to refer to them as, and as a lot of people like to refer to them as, their dog whistles.
That like pseudo-military shit. Okay, what did she took her cross off?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, when she did the press conference on they're dropping the Epstein files, she wasn't wearing a cross. Every other press conference, she has a giant cross necklace, except for this one.
And that's true. That really happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's real. So, I mean, maybe they're right about this one. And it's almost like,
oh no,
like saying, I can't brandish the cross when I'm telling a lie.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a distress signal. It's like an upside down flag.
Is she back to wearing it now?
I think so, yeah.
Is Pizzagate real?
I'm a big Pizzagate truther. That's what makes this so evil, because Trump was elected, obviously Hillary Clinton.
This is a big, giant conspiracy theory, like, circle jerk. This is, like, what all these people do. That's why they only have 4 people, and that's why they're, like, in very, very small numbers, but this is the circle that they've developed. And this video has 53,000 fucking likes. 53,000 fucking likes. And also, this legitimate white supremacist is on YouTube, just, like, spewing all of this. It's like, I don't know. Maybe we could have a whole conversation about if this stuff should even be allowed on the internet. I know back then I was kind of against banning Alex Jones because of the conspiracy theories, but like no one took him seriously because Alex Jones is like legitimately insane. And in some ways he was like, in a lot of ways he was very memeable. So a lot of people like made a lot of memes of Alex Jones, but still I'd be open to that conversation. I don't know, man. This is stuff like this is fucking crazy to have on YouTube, and 53,000 likes is fucking insane work. It's wild work.
Was at the center of Pizzagate. And so in many ways, Trump was elected as a repudiation of pedophile cults and blackmail rings controlling the country. And now he's at the center of covering up what is effectively the same thing, which is Jeffrey Epstein. This is the first real scandal, because you think about all the nonsense they said about him, the impeachments, the indictments, the porn star, the rape allegations, the insurrection, everything like that. But this is like the first undeniably real scandal, and one that has currency with his own supporters.
They memory hold that so quickly, I think because it was for a normal...
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump is legitimately on the Epstein files. That's the reason why he's not going to release them. Even though he signal boosted them to get into office for a second term, it's still like, that's the reason why he's never going to release them, because he's very likely on the files.
Person to believe that stuff, it's just too much of a reach, and it was too horrifying to think about if it's true. But the Epstein stuff is like, even to a normal person, it's just obviously it clicks, it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you, if you're Mossad, why wouldn't you run a blackmail ring like this? And so it's hard to see where this is going to go, this Epstein stuff, because it doesn't seem like it's going away. It seems like I thought it was going to go away when we made the fucking shirt, and now it's still, that was years ago.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they release the footage and they just cut out a little bit or something, something ridiculous, and they're like, yeah, see, look, it's all here. We got 10 hours.
They left the metadata in that shows that it was cut in Premiere Pro, our NLE of choice.
Future politics is pure schizophrenia. That's what's going to happen.
Or not. It might not be pure schizophrenia. I think that the Epstein thing has traction, and it has traction with like...
Yeah, to my surprise, the Epstein files situation in general with Trump has, like, legitimately swayed MAGA in a lot of different ways. Like, to my surprise, I didn't think MAGA usually sticks through him thick and thin, but, like, now the fucking Epstein files is just, like, a huge wake-up call to them. In almost a weird way, maybe it was a good thing that Trump got elected, because people needed this wake-up call to not be living in this fantasy bubble of their vision of what America would be. So I am very surprised these people are critical of Trump. That surprises me. But then again, even though these guys are right-leaning, they're definitely... I don't know, they're a lot more than just right-leaning. Like, they're legitimate white supremacists. Like, this is, like, this is extremist territory. This goes beyond just being right-leaning.
People who are disinterested in politics, typically, and it has traction with people who aren't schizophrenic and talking about weather modification and all that shit. It has traction with, like, regular people.
Yeah, for a lot of people, Trump was, the only reason they liked him is because they thought that he would unveil this sort of cabal and Illuminati thing.
Deep state.
They finally had a voice.
That's the whole fucking point of his presidency, is to take out the deep state.
Yeah, we finally have a wrench in the machine and whatever, and then it's just a machine.
That was the appeal, is like, here's this guy from the out.
Wow, Trump lying about stuff that he promised? Wow, crazy. Call me surprised. Literally, the writing has been on the wall before his first fucking term. Granted, his first term was not nearly as bad as he currently is now in office, but still, like, the writing has been on the wall for a long fucking time now.
Side, who's going to go on the inside and turn everything upside down and blow everything up. And burying Epstein is just total opposite of that. It's like he's actually covering for them and actually recapitulating it with the people that were the angriest about it.
They released those binders The Epstein Files Phase 1. We were looking into that. What happened to the people holding those binders? Who was that? Was it Cernovich?
It was Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, Scott Pressler, DC Drano.
What are those guys saying now? Like, what are they up to now?
They're all defending the president. They're all saying it's Pam Bondi's fault, it's the Attorney General's fault. It doesn't get darker than this. I mean, it's a pedophile sex blackmail island that like the royal family was involved in, and it works for Israel. And
works for Israel. Oh my God. It's just fucking crazy. It's like, listen, yes, it was a pedophile island. It just was, because Jeffrey Epstein's a legitimate fucking pedophile. But it's like, the fucking works for... It's like, they have to tie Israel and the Jews into literally everything, somehow. Because the whole conspiracy theory that Jews control the world and everything, it's just like dumb bullshit like that. It's just very, like, it's very exhausting to hear at this point.
Trump put out a memo saying, no, it's over. There's no clients. There's no black book. It's over. So I don't know how he gets past this one. I think this is going to haunt him. It's his first legitimate scandal. And what's terrifying is he's actually striking back at his own voters. He basically said in the most recent post today, he said, you know, what more could you ask for? Stop bothering me about this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary to think.
It definitely won't go away. I guess if the one thing is going to bring everybody together to get Trump out of office ASAP is the fucking Epstein stuff.
You know, this is the first time that his base has turned on him since the entire thing started 10 years ago. I don't know what this looks like.
Please, for the love of God, help me personally. Help me. Go to mde.tv, make a free account.
What the fuck is this website? No, I'm good. I don't think I'll go here.
Come on already with this. I need you to make a free account. Come on! We'll be right back. We're here with Nick Fuentes. Whatever brand is sponsoring us approves of violence.
Is that it? Is that all of everything? Yeah, it looks like that's the outro of everything. All right, that was certainly an experience.